All right, Mike Davis, kind enough to take time with us, founder of the Article 3 Project, former law clerk for Justice Neil Gorsuch, and former chief counsel for nominations for the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary. Mike, welcome back to the show. Always appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Mike, so let's start with the SCOTUS decision that allows Trump ICE raids to resume in California. This is a great thing, but unfortunately, we have to go to the Supreme Court for these things, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy. We have President Trump who campaigned on the facts that he's going to secure our border and he's going to expel these illegal aliens, particularly these foreign terrorists and vicious gang members from Tren de Aragua and MS-13. The American people liked what they heard. They gave President Trump a broad electoral mandate, 312 electoral votes, all 7 swing states, the popular vote. Trump kept the House. He won a comfortable margin in the Senate. He has an electoral mandate to do what he is required to do under our Constitution as the commander-in-chief and the chief executive officer, and that is to protect our border. That is our sovereign power as we the people, and we never gave away that sovereign power to these activist judges, but they have stolen that sovereign power, and they pretend like the president does not have this duty to protect our border. They pretend like these immigration laws are not on the books. These activist judges are sabotaging the presidency, and they're sabotaging the will of American voters, and it's unacceptable, and it's very dangerous, as we've seen with these vicious monsters who Joe Biden and his team imported into our country. 10 million people, over 10 million people, some would say 20 million people. It's unacceptable. It's a red line, and thankfully the Supreme Court struck down another Democrat activist judge in another Democrat hellhole.
You know, where do the judges, how do they have the authority to do this? And do they have the authority to do this? Because I was just saying, and I wanted to ask you, Mike, because I don't know this. It's like if you're in court, and then sometimes you're in a state court, the judge can say, well, the assembly and the legislature said this, and they put this law forth, so it's out of my hands. But a judge on a federal case or something like where they go to these district judges, can they come up with their own blatant decision on their own? They like disregard the United States Constitution, Mike Davis, it seems, and just come and make these arbitrary decisions on their own. And the question is, how does that stand? Shouldn't the president just go, well, I'm not accepting that decision because that judge has no right to do it? Can the president do that, sir?
Well, I would say this. These judges are destroying their legitimacy. The judges have a modest but crucial role, and that is to decide cases and controversies of the parties properly before the court with redressable claims. Nothing more, nothing less. It's a really important job. It's their Article 3 judicial standing, but these judges wear robes, not capes. Their job is not to fly around the country and save American voters from their duly elected president. Their job is not to be judicial activists. They may have disagreements, policy disagreements with the president of the United States or Congress, but I would say if they have a policy disagreement, resign from the bench and go run for Congress. Go run for the U.S. House or the U.S. Senate, or go run for governor, or go run for president. But in the meantime, do your job, which is a modest job.
And this forum shopping, is that legal? I mean, how is that possibly legal? Oh, let's go to a district somewhere in the middle of America just to go up against President Trump. How can we break that cycle, Mike Davis, do you think?
Yeah, the Supreme Court's starting to do that with monumental wins. President Trump and his team, Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and John Sauer, the Solicitor General, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Harmeet Dillon, Brett Shumate, President and Chad Mizell. President Trump has assembled a really good legal team at the Justice Department, and then he has a really good DHS team with Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller, and so many others. And they are winning historic wins at the Supreme Court, and they're on a very good winning streak because it's very clear that the president has this Article 2 power. Remember, the president is not stealing Congress's Article 1 legislative power. He's not stealing the Supreme Court's Article 3 judicial power. The president is exercising core Article 2 power under our Constitution as the commander-in-chief to protect our border, to protect our country from an invasion. He's exercising his power as the chief executive officer to take care that our laws are faithfully executed. The American people elected the president to do this, and you have these Democrat activist judges in these Democrat hellholes, like where you are in New York or D.C. or L.A. or San Francisco or Chicago, who think that they are going to sabotage the will of the American people. It is unacceptable, and the Supreme Court is stopping this, and you're starting to see some of these judges even defy the Supreme Court, as my old boss, Justice Gorsuch, pointed out when he said they can disagree with Supreme Court decisions, but they can't defy them. So, and the Congress needs to step up and start whacking these Democrat activist judges pretty hard with cutting their funding, with impeachments, with oversight hearings, with jurisdiction stripping. They need to understand that if you play stupid games, you're going to win stupid prizes.
Yeah, that's a great observation. Congress has got to, while we can, step in and tackle some of these activists in robes. This E. Jean Carroll, $83 million verdict. I don't follow this. This is just gossip. But, I mean, how bizarre is that? How sick is that? I mean, does that stand now? I mean, we hear Donald Trump wants to overturn that. He'll probably win in the end game, right, Mike Davis?
Look, look at Donald Trump and look at Melania Trump and look at Donald Trump's girlfriends and wives in the past. I promise you, he did nothing with Jean Carroll. This woman named her cat Vagina, right? This woman is she's an 81-year-old woman. She got some Democrat lawyers and activists and judges to go get her payday. I hope the Supreme Court reverses this, and maybe they can use some judicial victims fund to put this woman in a padded cell because she's nuts.
It's so true. I got to ask you too, Mike. You are so funny, man. But right on the money, though. I got to tell you, Mike Davis, Tish James, Adam Schiff, mortgage fraud, possibly. We hear about it. It's 5 months later. Anything going to happen? Adam Schiff, this guy, he was treasonous. And or do we have to wait? Or are we going to wait till the end of the administration and then they're going to nab this guy? Shouldn't this guy be tried for, treason for the lies that he told? Senator Schiff? Ugh, it pains me to call him senator, but that's the story, Mike. What are you thinking, sir?
So I would say this on the mortgage fraud. Ed Martin's on the case or on the cases, as he is a very determined prosecutor. So I think that things will move forward on the mortgage fraud front when these Democrat politicians are clearly lying on their mortgage applications to get lower interest rates for second homes or investment properties.
Yeah,
that's a violation. That's a fraud. That's a violation of federal law. So I imagine justice is coming there. For Crossfire Hurricane, I've been coming on your show for the last over 3 years.
Yes, sir.
Along with over 5,000 other media hits, talking about how justice must come for Crossfire Hurricane, going back to the 2016 campaign and how this is an ongoing criminal conspiracy to politicize and weaponize intel agencies and law enforcement to take out political enemies, Trump. I promise your listeners that justice is coming, so stay tuned.
Thank you. That is great news. Mike, while we have you, I got to ask you, did you see the interview with Bret Baier and Amy Coney Barrett? I just somehow don't trust this gal. I don't mean to be rude or anything, but your thoughts on Amy Coney Barrett, Justice Barrett, please.
Look, I would say to Justice Barrett, I've been very harsh on her in the past when she got a little rattled, and I said some harsh things about her. Mm-hmm. She's conservative, no doubt. Sometimes she thinks that she's grading law school exams instead of deciding Supreme Court cases. I think she'll get better as she's on the bench. We're already seeing her get better on the bench in the last year. She's joining the conservative bloc on these 6-3 rulings. I think that these activist judges being so extreme is actually causing the 6 Republican-appointed justices to come together as a team, which is a good thing.
Yeah, and one last thing, when you see these guys like Governor Newsom in the New York City being told not to raid Rikers, and even down in North Carolina, that horror that happened, they still say sanctuary states. There are still sanctuary cities. How do we overcome that with this administration, do you think, Mike Davis?
I think that the Trump Justice Department should start charging these Democrat governors and mayors with harboring illegal aliens and conspiracy and many other federal crimes for doing this, aiding and abetting federal crimes, because they are creating conditions where we have third world vicious war zones in these cities, and innocent Americans are getting raped, kidnapped, robbed, tortured, and killed, and it's unacceptable. It's happening to children, and it's disproportionately happening to hardworking, good American minorities in these cities who are trapped in these cities, and it's unfair to them, and it's unacceptable, and President Trump's going to stop it.
I love it. Mike Davis, thank you so much for your expertise. Always appreciate your valuable time. Mike, come back when you can, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike Davis. Don't forget, founder of the Article 3 Project, but knows what he's talking about because he was former law clerk for Justice Gorsuch and former chief counsel for nominations for the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary. Speaks the truth right there. Be great.